Daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play option. Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Markets in turmoil.
Markets in turmoil.
We back.
Markets in turmoil.
VIX is back, baby. It's back.
All my VIX players say, yeah.
15 holds in the VIX.
That's right. Speaking of who's back, Rusty's back out of the mines. Shout out Rusty. Rusty, what are you doing down there? What are you even doing in the mines nowadays?
I've been working on, well, I put a bunch of releases out. They were all enhancements to performance and durability for the trading service, continue to reduce latency, get it down super fast. But then last week or so, I've been working on OTO orders. And what is an OTO order? It is one triggers other, right? And all the brokers that we use with the automation platform support this. And basically, the main use for it, as I can tell, is that people want to put a resting stop on a short leg if they have a credit spread. Okay, and this would probably work best if you have a narrower spread where there's still a bid, right? There's some value left in the long whenever you get stopped out. So you would put a stop on the short, and an OTO, a complex OTO order, to as soon as that stop gets hit, that fill triggers another order, which is a market order on the longs, to immediately get out of that as well, to get some value back out of the trade.
I like that.
So yeah. So if you're doing like a 50 wide condor or something, so what the benefit is that it's resting at the exchange, right? If you do this right, because a single legged stop market order will rest at the exchange, and it's the whole thing. From what I understand, rests at the exchange. This whole triggering process. So Rusty, the risk is smaller.
So could you buy? Okay, you have a put credit spread ad. The market starts flying down. You could buy in the. Could you use it to buy in the short put? Go with the direction, but if we reverse back, you could sell out the long, or something like.
You could do that manually right now. Everything you just described.
Oh, okay.
This is more designed. I don't mean to cut Rusty off. He's probably going to give that explanation, but this is more designed for people that are just trying to get out of the whole credit spread, but they want to use a resting stop for the fastest, broker centric, exchange centric exit. Use a resting stop on the short leg, and then once that trade is done, just close out the long and get whatever you can back from it.
So so instead of closing the spread, they're going to do one side.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
And
because you want the stop on just the short, right? You want to say,
Gotcha. Yeah.
let's stop out when this thing loses let's say I sold it for $3 when it gets to $6, when it's 100% exit. And normally you're buying those longs for buying power reduction and for risk management.
That's right.
So you're doing the width based on your own tolerance for risk and everything else. But if it's a narrow spread, let's say it's 50 wide, well, maybe you paid 50 cents for that thing. And maybe, especially at the beginning of the day, if you get a tank right away, there's probably going to be some good value in that long. So let's go ahead and market order that immediately when the short gets popped by the stop. And maybe you recover a couple bucks, and then it's worth some value rather than.
So it's called OTO.
OTO is the type, and Schwab and Tradier and Tasty, they all support it. I know other brokers that we don't support, such as IB, also supports it. So
pretty cool. Charles Oliger, son of Ricardo Luis Oligaros.
I missed him.
Listen.
What?
I mean, I am what I am. I'm an American. And in America, we have vinyl siding. It is what it is. I'm a real American boy.
Is he making fun of your vinyl siding?
Listen.
Is that vinyl? It looks like wood clapboard.
It's not clapboard, it's vinyl. That's a nice vinyl. So Anyway,
V for vinyl, V for volatility.
That's right.
it is what it is. I've got no shame in vinyl siding. I embrace vinyl siding. It keeps the rain out. So
Keeps the rain.
anyway, also this isn't my house, but I just show up at people's houses and I drive by and I find the nicest vinyl siding I can, and I say that's where we're doing the OTO show this morning. So anyway, listen, markets in turmoil.
That's right.
We have a little bit of vol. It feels good. We kind of had vol. If you look at it, we kind of have had vol the last 2 days in some weird ways.
Mhm.
And I was playing around last night with some ATR stuff, and I was looking at basically comparing ATR to the at the money straddle of 0 day to figure out vol pricing versus range, and just looking at cheapness versus expensiveness. And yesterday was one of those days where it was probably pretty cheap to buy a straddle at the beginning of the day.
Oh yeah. You had 100 point.
Hindsight. But
But you had a 100-point range. I mean, I knew a guy he had a Rick on. It goes up, right? In the morning, he sold out the call side, and then boom, down 100. And those don't happen often, right?
oh, that's a special day.
That's a special. No, you're right. I mean, 100-point. When was the last time we had a 100-point range in SPX?
Yeah,
I don't
In
know.
a minute.
Been a
And it's
minute.
continuing this morning.
Yes.
When vol was what, 15 at peak there? I think it got down to like 15.2 or something crazy.
Oh yeah,
It's
this
super
week.
low.
Yeah, this.
Oh,
yeah.
we
Look out,
opened
it below 15
maybe
one day. And I bought
14.9. Yeah,
I
14.
bought some 60-day puts.
Yeah. So it works out. I mean, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. God bless anybody who's buying a straddle at 9:32 in the morning.
Oof.
If the system tells you to do it. But,
Well,
I had
I'll say this: there are some backtests floating around out there, to where you double down on vol getting crushed, especially on let's say Thursdays. Since the start of dailies, Thursdays, for whatever reason, you can almost have a whole week of shows pontificating about the nature of Thursdays and how the VIX futures expire from Wednesday to all these different things. But Thursdays have been spicy, and I'm just saying, Troy, there's tests out there where if vol is down overnight and it continues to go down intraday, right? We have this intraday VIX movement condition we added a couple months ago. I don't remember when. You double down. You're saying, yeah, vol got crushed overnight and it's continuing to drill, which it did yesterday. You buy that thing when that straddle intraday is at its cheapest point that it's been in a while. You could say vol is down, 1%, 2%, VIX is down. Buy a straddle. You're buying it when it's dirt cheap, right? I'm just saying there's some stuff out there.
Yeah, like also piggybacking on what Rusty said, I like that concept, not just when the VIX is minimum down a little bit at the opening, but when it continues to crush, usually that means SPX is probably up 40, 50 points, right?
Yeah.
I like
Well,
calendars. And for the last 4 or 5 months, calendars, let's just say SPX is make up a number 6,000. At that point, place a calendar 30, 35, 40 points underneath the market. And those things, what's nice about it, and I was looking, maybe 10 to 15 days out for calendar. You could go shorter term. What's nice about it is on a 10 to 15 day calendar, even if you go 40 points under the market, you're not far from delta neutral with a calendar if you just put it under. And then if the market comes down 30 or 40, now you're at the strike, volatility pops up. So those can be, but I like that feature. Is that a new feature where the vol goes down and then you get a further crush? What do you call that in the backtesting?
So we added that. Yeah, it's newish. It's one of the newer features. Actually, I think it's the most recent entry condition, I'll say. And so there's an entry condition to where you can say if it's under the VIX, if you toggle the VIX condition in the backtester or in the automation platform, right? It's in both. You can say minimum, maximum VIX move up or down. So you get all kinds of things. You could say if VIX moves up 5% a day, let's sell some premium's juice.
Right.
Or you could say if it's down a couple percent during the day,
Right.
buy premium's been crushed. And so it allows you to play the volatility movement intraday from the opening of the day And so whenever you decide, so you can do a floating entry and say, let's wait for this thing. Let's wait for this thing to get dirt cheap and then pounce.
I liked it. That's got Troy's name all over it. That type of.
Yeah.
Do you use that,
I
Troy?
like-
Do you use that feature?
I do. There's a couple of, I think intraday, like Rusty's saying, for some.
That was the one we
long-
did yesterday, right? Was that
Yeah,
yesterday or the day before?
I think maybe
Tuesday,
yesterday
maybe?
we played around with it a little
Today
bit.
is
Yeah.
Friday, August 1st, by the way. Happy August.
Friday, happy August 1st. I always say to myself at the end of July, like, hey, we're almost done. And then August 1st rolls around and says, the heat of August says, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
Markets in turmoil.
Yeah. So,
So what
It's
are
hot.
we talking about? What are futures doing right now?
well, Matt, I'm glad you asked. Futures are down. Futures are down 65.
It's about 1%
And the-
now.
And the
I'll
VIX
drink some
is-
water to that.
If I'm looking at the VIX correct, we got two handles on the VIX up. 1878 is what we're at in the VIX.
Wow.
May the
almost.
VIX end today at 27.
Oh, my
boy.
gosh. Troy.
Ooh.
That would
Boy.
be would be good for me.
Oof.
Bad for the economy, good for me.
Would you be in the bunker at that point planning more things? If what takes you into the volatility bunker? Like 25, 20?
I've said it for years. Like anything over 20, I've said it for years. I've never said it. Above 20,
It's getting deep in here. Everyone get their waders on. Come on.
above 25, I start losing sleep because I get so excited. I start playing around at night. And then basically 40 is an exit event for me. 80 is like an exit event for a lot of things in life at me.
Oh, my God.
So if VIX opened up
80.
80 Monday morning, we
might
won't be doing. We might do being some vinyl siding shows. I'll put it that way. We might do some yacht shows. So
Yeah.
anyway, all right. So this is what we're doing. We have been looking this week. We took a little detour yesterday, as is everybody's favorite thing to do, is detour into Rick land every once in a while. But today we continue on what I would argue the vast majority of people trade, which is put spreads. And so we're gonna
JSP, baby.
continue-
JSP, BBY.
we're going to
JSP,
continue.
baby.
And it is always funny to think about, Dan, like, because people ask, doing the options with the boys stuff, shout out Airbud. We do, people ask me and I say, I trade DCs a lot. I'm kind of a DC guy. I like DCs a lot. It's important to remember that the vast, vast majority of people sell put spreads.
Yes.
I mean, condors put spreads. Most people sell premium,
Mm.
and I get that. You have to remember that. So shout out you guys, because this is what we're about today. So we looked at a 30-minute, or we looked at a 5-minute EMA a couple of days ago. And today, shout out Mr. T. I think he gave me the idea for the 30. I tested most of the EMAs, and in fact, the 30-minute EMA with this setup, at least these deltas, works pretty well. And so, Matt, what are we looking at here?
JSP, baby. That's what we're looking at.
JSPS for clarity.
Yes, just so put spreads. So this is 25 delta, 50 wide put spread. So your risk on this is what? It's 50 wide minus your credit. How much credit are you getting? Depends on the environment. Couple bucks. It wins almost all the time. And what you're doing is you are selling a put spread every day but Thursday, based on VIX moving up a little bit, and based on being above the 30-minute EMA. And so it's on a loop to check the time, where the backtester loop is a bad phrase, but it's checking the entry to see if those conditions are met most of the day. So starting at 9:32 right after open and going almost until power hour at 2:15, it's checking to see, hey, did those conditions get met? And then it's doing nothing. There's no exit. So as you can see, it does win most of the time. However, your losers could be
Spicy.
significant. it's almost lost $5,000. So when you keep in mind the
It is
average
50 wide,
winners,
yeah.
when your average winner's $400 and you win 87% of the time, your average loser is more than 3 times that, but your max loser, you could lose the entire width of the spread minus your smallish credit in relative terms. So
and that
was a Yappuccino.
That's a great point that I wanted to hit first. You look at this. These are 3 spreads, May 21st. You got 3 of these things on. Okay. Max win $1,500. You lose $12,000.
Ouch.
Okay. Now, again, I'm prefacing this with saying we're DC boys, and so we don't like losing that much, but we also take lower win percentage. You're playing the game, to Matt's point. You're playing purely a numbers game. And you go from there and you let the numbers ride and you do what you can, but you are going to get just smacked every once in a while. Is that fair to say, fellas?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting with this type of setup is checking the deltas and the width for variations, both. For instance, one of the things you could do is if you made this trade a 5 wide, you would not get that much credit. You'd get around $1, would be typical. And in low VIX times, you could be getting significantly less than that. But what does this mean at a 5 wide? Well, your win percentage is still over 80%. And your max losers are still going to be much bigger than your max winners. But when you go 5 wide, your width is just, you can do the math. It's a 10th. So your maximum exposure is just totally different. It's a different thing. And as you can see, this backtest had positive expectancy running 3 years since Staley's now. So that is, that's one of the things I like to do when I'm looking at backtests is try a lot of variations on the theme. And if all of them are in the same general direction as far as capture rate and they're profitable and you can really play with the risk and return to see if it's a backtest that makes sense for you.
What if you?
I like what Troy just did there. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Dan.
go ahead, Russ.
No. I got nothing. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the only thing I was just thinking, because obviously it's like a $4,700 trade. It's quite a bit of margin.
Yeah.
Do you maybe try to go from 50 to 40? But the other thing, as far as a rail, since there really isn't a rail on the would you do something, or does it matter? Like maybe even if when the 25 delta of the short put goes to some number, 50.
You could do it. Yeah, you could for sure.
I don't know how that would affect it. And again, it's a 0 day. So those go from one delta to the other awful quick. So I don't know, would you put a 70 delta, with that, just to keep the crazy losses? Because would you say, Troy, the worst ones were like you were losing how many times? Those ones that you highlighted, was it like 4 times the average winner, or how many?
Yeah, about 4 times the average.
Okay.
Winner.
So I don't know.
I think the worst loser was 10 times the average winner.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Because
the
it's
average
50
winner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
wide.
100%. I don't know what I'm thinking.
So
Wow.
$4,000 loss versus an average $400
Yeah, that's right.
win.
Okay, that's a big.
Max loss. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what were you saying, Dan?
That'll take the air out.
That's why we let him do the numbers in the mind, folks.
Yeah.
That quick calculation.
Would you guys on 0 days normally? Would you on the short? Would you do anything with the short delta, or is it just? Obviously things happen just to try to keep that crazy loss down, or what would you? At least
You mean as far as
I
putting
like
an exit
Troy's
on the whole thing?
favorite. I like Troy's. My favorite of the iterations he just did was that one there, which is do it 5 wide at the money, so your win percentage goes way down. But look at this, Dan. Now your max loser, because it's 5 wide, but you're getting a lot more value. So you're averaging about $200, winner 280, loser, but you're getting 65% of the time you're doing this thing.
for directional, I think, and that's a great for directional put credit spreads, I think they should be at the money. And this is
At
more
the money.
directional.
Yes.
Whereas if you're doing something like the EMA, TAMI, and that's how, you know, there's a great place for doing a 10 delta or a 15 delta put, but for directional, you want a better risk reward, because this is a much better risk reward.
I will say it doesn't test as well going back to dailies.
Oh,
So
Go to the
you
graph.
have to account for that. Yeah.
So, oh wow, yeah. So it's done well year to date, but then pretty bad.
Yeah.
wow.
So you got to take. I mean, this is the thing. This is why I always try to say, like, you kind of know your specialty, and you know you want to learn new things, but like this is the fun part of it. There are people who look at this trade, and there's two types of people, and this is the interesting thing to me. There's the people like me who would say 50 wide scares the crap out of me. I opened a trade like this earlier this year. I found a test I liked and I started trading it. And the first day it went down and I started digging in deeper and I was like, what's the max loser on this trade out of one lot? And I was like, oh, 10 times what I collect.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. So there's people like me.
Imagine getting 2 losses in a row.
Oh,
That's
Just
right.
imagine it.
I couldn't.
People- There are people, but this is the funny thing. There are people like me that look at that and like you guys that say, no way. And then there's people that look at this test and say, well, you know what your problem is? You need to move that to 100 wide.
there may indeed be those people.
And you need to do it. You need to do it 100 wide, and you need to do it about 15 to 16 more times a day.
Right.
That's and those are just the type.
Yeah,
of
the
trades.
edge is small. Let's work the edge.
But
Boom.
also people try saying that. I mean, the reality is they're also saying that when I'm down 2 times or 3 times what I can make, I'm closing that trade too, or no.
Yeah, they've got stops on them. They've got. I mean, to do that and survive, you basically do stops. I mean, and so you could go just to play or with it. This, for the sake of it, you go. Let's start with this 100 wide.
Well, what about splitting the difference? Hold on a second. Before you do that, just to humor me. So we did 50 wide. We did 5 wide. Can you do 25 wide? Split the difference. I'm lazy with my heuristics. I just like a simple caveman approach. Let's just see. Like sometimes it's like, well, one's terrible, one's great. Well, what about somewhere in the middle?
Right.
Gotcha, Tom.
Boom! Look at that. Now
Well,
that's not so bad. So your losers own.
It's year to date. This is where
Man.
I know
Keep
you guys
messing
get too
with me,
excited
boy.
about this stuff. Let it run.
All right.
Yeah. The last thing I want is people being like, "Well, year to date it ran great. What happened?"
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's show the test. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I should try to split the difference. Try to, because the other route basically is what you do is you say, I'm going to make this basically a synthetic naked put. That's what they're trying to do.
Yes.
And with a stop, I'm going to put a stop on it. And again,
Mhm.
I don't, it's not my cup of tea, but I recognize.
Hey, at least it's a winner now. Look at that.
There you go. All right. So we've done okay with that, obviously.
And so here's the interesting thing about
Matt, I just switched.
Yep. About the test Troy has right now. I've literally just been playing around with this when we've been talking and going back to like this idea when you sign up for backtesting bootcamp, for instance, the thing we talk about right at the start is we want to give you some guidance on backtesting and you want a robust backtest. You want a rigorous backtest. Well, one of the cool things is that OO's super fast. So while we've been yapping, I've just been playing around with this. And so this isn't optimized. I've just been playing around with it. So you could split the difference on going. Rusty split the difference on the width. You can also split the difference on the delta. So instead of doing an at the money or 20 or 25 delta, this is a 35 delta. It's only 5 wide. So what does that mean? It's going to win, at least in the back test. Now, it didn't win every year. So,
But your
it
win
doesn't-
percentage actually went up to 70.
Yeah, but-
6% from mine was like 71 or 72. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the past 3 years, it's won most of the time. And it has to, because your losers are still bigger than your winners. But at five, even at 5 wide, you're still getting your average winners, about a buck 35, buck 40, and so that is splitting the difference. It's a way to iterate on this, and we are big advocates of using these tools and understanding what you're doing. And one of the ways that you can, that seems obvious, right? But one of the ways that you can understand is just repetition and analysis. So 35 5 wide, same underlying things. We want VIX to be juiced a little bit going into the day, and during the day, 30-minute EMA is a short-term look. So going in the right direction on a day that VIX was juiced. Very simple. No exit,
Listen,
ride or die.
I have a lot of respect. I really do. I have a lot of respect for people who just play the edge. Like,
Sure.
it's because I can't do it. Like, I know too much that it hurts me. Not saying I'm smart. Like, I know just enough to hurt me. And I have a respect for people who can play the edge. Rob just said it. Rob, very few people can stomach a 37% max drawdown. So these guys basically, and Rob is the edge guy. Like, Rob is an edge guy. If there ever was an edge guy, the JSP crew, the Just Sell Puts crew, he plays the numbers. I have a friend, who he feels like there's an edge in 1995 Ford F-150s. I just see the problems with old trucks, but he sees the edge and he just keeps playing the edge. Whatever floats your boat. I feel like if you can do it and you know how to do it, you a lot of times with trading, you yourself become the edge. Does that make sense? Like, because you build the craft of how you can handle it, right?
Well,
So
that kind of go. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
nope, please go.
Well, I was going to say, Dan talks a lot about this, and I've learned a lot from Dan about the
Shout out, Dan.
Shout out to Dan. Truly, just you have to know yourself, right? And could you stomach a loser that is 10 times your average winner? And a lot of people will optimize for win percentage because it's easy to trade when you're doing nothing but winning. It's easy to trade when you got something that wins 85% of the time until you get a couple big losers. And then what happens? You abandon the trade. You come up with a different trade. Then you trade that for a while. Then you get a couple losers and you abandon the trade. I'd much rather, it's easier if you start with the test. That one we had where the winner is almost the same as the losers, but you're only winning 60-something% of the time. Then you're expecting to lose,
Right.
35, 40% of the time.
Yeah. I remember like 10 or 15 years ago, and maybe the market was going up or what, but a lot of these, I knew some of these guys, Iron Condor newsletters and stuff. And they'd be doing 5 delta, 6 delta, whatever. And they'd all be, we never lose and all that. And you need one flush, right? You need one kind of market downturn. And then you pause a month and see, how many firms are no longer, how many newsletter services are done with, right? And I always said, it's not that, hey, it's a good strategy. It's like you find out who believes in risk management. When it doesn't mean like with Rob, I'm not speaking for him, but it's like if you're selling puts or doing something like that, he's got a plan, right? That if something happens on the downside, he's crying uncle, right? I mean, at some point, and that's really the risk management. I mean, I have no problem with selling put credit spreads or whatever, as long as you have a reasonable plan. But honestly, I've seen, and I've talked to some of these guys. I talked to 2 Iron Condor newsletter guys, and it was very sketchy what they're going to do if it goes against them, right? We're going to look at charts. I'm like, that's not the answer I want to hear. Right?
Well,
Forget the chart, because now you're going Dorothy and Wizard of Oz saying, I hope it comes back. And I'm saying, no, I want to hear something like, I am closing that side, or I'm doing something, rolling, doing something.
Yeah.
And that's how, and that's all it is on that. And I think when you think about Tammy and some of the, I've talked to Tammy, I mean, she's very disciplined at the risk management.
Shout out Tammy. I mean,
yeah, and that's and Mark and other, I mean, who do the credit spreads. You just got to be disciplined risk manager. I mean, that's really what it is, because it is. You got the probabilities. I mean, you got whatever probability you want, right? I mean, you want 80%.
That's the natural gas guy we've talked about before, Coyer or whatever his name is. It was during COVID, I think, but he just sold natural gas puts and NG puts, and he wrote a whole book on option selling. And basically, natural gas, they call it the widowmaker for a reason, because it can drop like 20% in a day. And
the widowmaker.
He basically went bankrupt. He has a video, an apology video you can find on YouTube.
Really?
I've seen that. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And what I realized is, this is my personality. You all have to figure out personalities. I'm the guy that's like, when all of those newsletters, the day they go flush, that's the day in my account when I'm like, back in the high life again. And I just got to figure out how to make money the rest of the year. For the rest of that's my problem.
When VIX is lower than 40, you mean?
That's right. And so, hey, Tom's got a question for you, Dan. Dan, did you ever see one of those penny picker uppers stretchered out of the pits on Black Monday?
Oh, people brought out on a stretcher?
Yeah, like Black Monday, all the people who are just selling.
People who are putting pennies in front of steamroller, picking up.
Oh, quite a bit, but it was on a regular basis. I mean, one of the yes, and on Black Monday, when the market, we're talking about the 87 crash, right?
Yeah.
So 2 quick stories. When the 87 crash went down, I told you I had where our office was, 2 doors down was a really high character guy. And, again, from 80 to 87, the market just went up, right? And so these guys were just selling puts with naked abandon, right? Naked puts, thousands of them. And the brokerage firms, which would be like your, Thinkorswim or whatever, your brokerage firms are like, you guys are geniuses, right? You guys are and so they just kept selling the puts. No one said, hey, there's some risk. And then in the 87 crash, this gentleman next to me he had thousands of these little puts that were at 30 cents or whatever that went to whatever, 100, 200. And so at that point, he was pleading literally on his knees to the brokerage firm. Look at the Vol and OEX, which was the SPX precursor, is at 200, 300. Please don't go and buy them back. But they're not option necessarily. I mean, we're at risk now, right? We're going in, we're going to buy the straddle at 300 volatility. And I remember when they did that in the pit, and they almost got attacked because there were so many people who wanted to sell the 300 volatility. And anyways, the good part of the story is that guy lost 27 million that day, and he high character. The brokerage firm, which later it was First Options of Chicago, which later became Goldman Sachs, I think, bought it. But he worked the money he owed them. He paid it all back. From trading. I mean, he was a great trader. But the other story with Tom, real quick, on a regular basis, you would have guys, you had paramedics at there, and at least once a month, another one would be carried out, but a lot of it was, I think, the lifestyle, right? The blood, because you had, especially at the Board of Trade, probably contribute, in the beans and wheat, there was a lot of Irish, and they were drinking steadily from 7:30 in the morning, 2 hours before the soybeans and beans opened. And it was only open 4 hours. You only traded from 9 to 1, which was the best job for the Irish who like to drink. And so you had this 2 hours. So you had a lot of blood pressure. People be like, I wonder why my blood pressure is up. I'm only drinking 8 beers a day. So you would see guys like, being wheeled out, and guys like, hey, we're with you, we're rooting for you, whatever, So it was just a weird existence too when you walked in off Jackson and LaSalle, and it's still there, the Series Cafe, which is in the Chicago Board of Trade building. I never saw on a day, we go over there for breakfast sometimes at 7:30, the bar was standing room only, right? Because all the futures guys, the Irish futures guys, were heavily, that's where they did their analysis, because all the TVs had on all the charts. So that's where they did their early morning work. at the
I-
series. And if you
I-
still, I mean, I still think there would be, if you're ever in Chicago and you stop by the Board of Trade, go into the Series Cafe. If you look at the advertising for the Series Cafe, I think if you go on now and look at the advertising, they pride themselves on saying, this is true. We have the stiffest drinks in the city. Isn't it?
I love it.
That's
I
fun.
love the idea of just a bunch of traders just in a pit, Irish traders being like, "Hey, did you hear about Larry O'Donnell? He had a liver failure," and then just 50 Irish traders being like, "To Larry."
Oh yeah,
Like I love that.
Yeah, the Irish definitely, they wanted the 4-hour workday where you could drink before and after work. The CBOE was too much work because it was a full 8-hour day for a lot of those.
Shout out the Irish.
Yeah.
Listen,
Shout out to livers. They do,
Yeah,
they,
livers.
they do the heavy work.
what do they
Yeah.
even do? What do they even do? Who knows? I don't know. So here's the thing. Final
find out.
question. Going into a Friday opening down probably 60, unless we have a rally in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
What kind of trades would fire for you boys today?
I don't think anything based on it going down, just my normal mechanical stuff. I say
what's not going on as a Rick. I'm not putting on a Rick today.
No. Every fall I'm like, I need to buy some put spreads in July. I finally bought one. I just bought one yesterday and was going to like leg into a couple more and spread them out. Put debit spreads, by the way, buying a put debit spread. And
like long duration, like 60.
Yeah, like longer duration.
Low delta?
Lower delta. And
I just bought a bunch of naked puts. I tranched in a couple different weeks now.
Yeah. And I was going to try to like
15.
spread them out, but I don't think I'm going to buy one today. So maybe I'll roll the one and make it
Not
free.
today.
Not today.
Dan, I mean, people in the community, trying to figure out what to do. Is this a good day to sell a put spread? Is it a good day to sell a longer dated, iron condor?
I mean, you got a little bit of premium to do if you want, I say you got a little bit of premium, but these aren't exactly high volatilities, right? You got a little bit of premium, so you could scale into if you wanted to sell a put credit spread or do an iron condor, just because I know a lot of people, people that are trading, everybody's long Vega, right? Everybody, because the vols have been low. So you have a lot of people have some mixed month trades on. So to sell a little premium, because most of the long premium people have on is from 15. And so today, what did you say? We're 18 or 19, Matt?
We're at almost 19.
19. Yeah. So I think, for people who are long Vega, it's an easier, hey, I'm going to sell a little bit of premium today type thing. But for range bound trades, I might wait see what happens by maybe lunchtime or even wait till Monday, just because now you got over the weekend, right? This whole tariff thing the drama could go over the weekend. So I put on a Rick for, Ricks have worked well yesterday, but I have a Rick on for small one for Monday, just because someone suggested, this stuff could carry over into the weekend. So a Rick for Monday, put it on yesterday, but I wimped. Instead of a 20 wide Rick, I did a 10 wide Rick. So you can still make some, but it's like, I struggle with negative theta trades. I get more nervous. I'm more comfortable with a small debit or small delta credit spread than the negative theta trades. Just get me, like the Ricks, I wimp out more than anyone I know, because it's like that negative theta, you can get down 30% quick. And Matt's kind of helped walk me off the edge a little bit, where you can, trust the numbers. I'm getting better. A little bit better. I've weaned myself.
Yeah.
We've been doing this 0-day iron condor, and it's worked well at like 30 delta, 30 wide. It's kind of come from Tasty. I was talking about this, and a couple students started doing it. But you're bringing in about a $10 credit. You have about $2,000 of risk. But to me, and the game plan is you put it on at 10:02 Eastern, and you want to wait till, you don't take it off till you're up 25% or it hits 11:30 Eastern. Not once I even made it to 10%. at about 7 or 8%, I just, and sometimes you can get that in about 18 to 25 minutes. I pull it, but I've noticed by putting in the OO, I have it automated. I can just, a student suggested, Dan, to help yourself here, instead of 20%, start at 8 or 10% and work your way. So that it really has helped me. And for someone who gets nervous Nelly on some of these negative theta or these type of trades, the back test has kind of settled me, and I'm appreciative of that.
That's a good way to do it. I mean, that's you want to start reality, like you say, oh, trust the back test, but you build trust. And so the idea of saying, like, I'm going to start walking this profit target up a little bit as I go to build trust, that's not a bad way to do it, honestly. So all right, listen, guys,
bell's about to ring. Happy Friday, everybody.
Market turmoil. We'll be back Monday, hopefully 80 VIX. Troy will be on the lake, and we'll go from there. So shout out to the lakes, and